we just had the whole spectrum of what's dope about hip hop. So the first record I heard that made me want to take it serious, I was I don't know, like 10, 11 years old. I think it was like Jack the Ripper. And that's when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start taking it serious and start writing and start trying to be an MC at that.
That's real, man. What about you, young RJ? Same question.
For me, it would probably be like early Tribe. It would be like, I ain't gonna say Social Mil. It would be like Far Side, Too Short, The Roots. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Amen.
That's what set it off for me.
Amen and amen and amen. So, if you're just now tuning in, everyone, once again, we got the legendary Slum Village. We got T3. We got young RJ holding things down, and they just talked about their influences. So the LL scene and Crush Groove, that was an actual scene that really happened. That's how we got his deal.
Yeah, that was incredible too, by the way.
Because I don't think no one else has ever done that since. And
right.
To the legendary LL. So at the times you all were coming up in hip hop, how in Detroit, if that's where it all started, please correct me if I'm wrong in anything that I'm going to say. What was the scene like back in those times as it is, as opposed to how it is now in 2023?
The scene in Detroit when we was coming up, it was different. It was like hip hop was new in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So if like me in my high school or my middle school, when I'm doing hip hop, we was the weird guys for doing hip hop. It wasn't like, because it wasn't the norm. You know, in every school they probably had like a little group, a patch of rappers. It wasn't like, you know, New York or LA or nothing. So you was the weirdos. So we had dreadlocks. We was walking around, and we was the other guys. You know what I'm saying? So we just had a small community, man. We just built that community, and that community is what kind of kept us out of trouble and out a lot of things, man. You know what I'm saying?
Now, what years was this time frame that we talking about?
We talking early 90s, man. 90s. So
okay.
Late 89, early 90s.
So we looking around the time when De La was just about coming out, Tribe was about to come out.
All that. It was just
you already had that reflection of people that were already speaking your language before you even decided to pursue this as an actual career.
Yeah, those were my earliest influence, and one of the earliest influences on Slum Village was probably Leaders of the New School. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of our earlier influence before Dilla even got a chance to work with Busta. You know what I'm saying? That was that Leaders of the New School. That's what we was into.
Real rap. What about you, young RJ? Same question.
Same thing, man. It started off, you know what I'm saying, with just enjoying the music that was out there. You know, I'm a little bit younger than T.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it really wasn't no scene like that for me. You know what I'm saying? It was like 80s R&B music, you know what I'm saying, that I was hearing. You know what I'm saying? Or techno music you would hear on the weekends. And then a splash of, you know, hip hop in it.
Yeah, you didn't really hear hip hop on the radio at night back in those times.
No,
not at all. So of course I know the history of Slum Village to a point where you guys were childhood friends. Salute and respects to Batin and of course Elzai and the late great Jay Dilla, who damn near impacts everybody even to this day. But how did you guys meet initially, and when did you all decide that, hey, we want to do this? We've got something to say and we want the world to hear.
Well, okay. When we first met, we met in high school. So it was me, Dilla, and it was me and Batin. I met Batin first through a mutual friend, YG, and then we heard about Dilla. You know what I'm saying? So when we heard about Dilla, we heard about this guy that was incredible with the beats. So we heard about him, and then we eventually brought him in. So we heard about that. The Elzai thing didn't happen to the 2000s. So Elzai didn't come in until like the 2006.
Well, El came in
2001. Yeah, 2001. Yeah. So, but the early days, it was just me, Batin, and Dilla. So that's how it started off with us. But we had a group before that too, the Cinepod. Shout out to my man, Cinepod. I mentioned them. So that's YG, the QD. Those were early Slum Village days. But yeah.
Thank you for saying that name, because I was going to butcher the mess out of that and probably mess it up. Thank you for saying it. But I'm just realizing that it was dopeness spelled backwards. I don't know how
okay, there you go. Yes, it was dopeness spelled backwards. And we thought that was the freshest thing ever. And we only did like 2 songs as that name. 2 songs.
Wow. I don't like to predict things for the future, but if you ever make another album, you should give it that title, just as an homage to your old days. That would be dope.
Crazy. Okay, yeah, maybe I will. Maybe we could have it.
I'll take credit for that. All good. So in '91, you all decided to change the name to Slum Village. Where did the name change come from, and what was the origin behind Slum Village?
Well, that's a good question. So when we came, we was doing that Cinepod thing, and then that's when we had like a dancer in the group. That was cute. He was dancing. That was kind of fading out in the old days. It was 2 dancers. Yeah, it was 2 dancers. But he wasn't in the group. Cutie was in the group. The other guy wasn't. But so dancing stuff was fading out. We felt like we needed a new direction, and honestly, we were mad at one of the members of Slum Village. We was mad at about 10 because we found out that he was hustling on the side. And we wasn't about that life. So when we came in and confronted him, you know what I'm saying? We came in and confronted him. He was mad, and he said, "Man, I don't want nothing to do with y'all. I'm out." So that's when we said, you know what? We about to form a new group. It's called Slum Village. So originally, when we formed Slum Village, it was just me and Dilla.
Okay.
And our first song was kind of talking about. We had this song called "A Man." You know how everybody blamed the man for doing stuff. So we was kind of throwing shots at Montana, talking about the man do what he needed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man! When you guys patched things up and he was joining back in, did you let him hear the song?
Yeah, he heard it.
What was his thoughts? I'm curious.
I mean, you know what? If you listen to Slum Village albums, I talked about this not too long ago. Mm-hmm. We got records that we're on. All 3 of us is on together that we talk about each other. We're talking. I'm literally talking about. Dilla's literally talking about me. So we do stuff like that. It was funny to us. So we was like capping on each other within the songs. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just what we did.
Healthy competition within the group.
Yeah. That's how you do it. Yeah,
fun stuff. That at all. Yep. So let's fast forward to '96. The volume 1 came out on cassette. And shout out to the cassette era, ladies and gentlemen. Because I'm 49 years old. I'm from the cassette.
Right. And
where we had to buy 2 copies because if the box ate the tape up, then you had a backup. So salute to that. When you guys were finished with the first album, first of all, what was the narrative that Slum Village wanted to have with releasing the debut onto the world? Speak on that first.
That album got done. It was like, Dilla had already started producing for major artists already, right? So he was doing a little bit here and there, and then his work was trying to slow up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So what happened was it was a competition with this group because Dilla had just produced a local group's whole album, and then they was coming to me and they were saying, "Look, we got an album out of Dilla before y'all did." You know what I'm saying? And I was like, you know what? So YG hyped us all up, and then we went in the studio and kind of made volume 1 in like a week.
Wow.
So we made that in 1 week. You know what I'm saying? With all the remixes and all that stuff that Dilla did to it. Some of the stuff we was just rapping over click tracks. It wasn't even no beat. You know what I'm saying? And so it just came together. So our narrative was just like, man, it was just years of frustration. We had been together for years before coming out. You know what I'm saying? So, and then it just came out and that's the thing.
Were you guys already doing shows before the album came out? And if shows, what was the response like when you were doing shows when people were basically like, yo, who's this new group? And like that.
Well, yeah, we was doing shows. We had a fan base. So with that small hip hop community, they were supporting us a lot. So if you listen to volume 1, you will hear the audience sing "Look of Love," like the call and response. That was real because we can get 100 people to come to our shows even with nothing, just off of us selling our cassette tape, and we just had a decent fan base.
Grassroots networking. Nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
That's right.
No
Shout
radio,
out
no nothing. We was just out here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, young RJ. So, I don't want to just have this all about. See, I'm stuttering right now because my lady just came in. I'm about to get married also.
Congratulations! Yeah.
I'm sidetracked, but you as a producer now, do you rap at all, or you're just strictly the producer?
Nah, I rap.
Okay.
Yep.
Who are some of your influences coming up in the rap game? Because you were telling me that techno and stuff was your influence. You didn't even have rap. So who were some of your early influences as an MC? And then we'll talk about you as a producer.
It was the people who I was around. So, you know, a lot of it was Slum. A lot of it was, what was Shyrock? Yeah. That was writing stuff for us early.
Yep.
I had a kids group. So, it was all the people who I was around that helped mold. Right. And as things change, you know, you just pulling influence from the stuff that you like.
And what about production wise, as a producer, either back then or even now?
Back then it started off, I thought I was Baby Timberland. And then I was a No Limit Soldier for a while. And then, you know what I'm saying? Then I jumped into hip hop.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And Dilla, and you know, working with T, you know, learning how to produce. And then, you know, it just came a time where I had to step in to help keep everything moving forward. And that's, you know, where it went.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, we've got Slum Village in the building. Legends upon legends. Please get familiar with these gentlemen if you have not been familiar with them for the last 3 decades. I don't know where you've been at, but obviously you ain't in the culture if you're not chilling with these brothers right here. So we're going to fast forward to 1998. You got your first record deal with Barack. If I'm saying anything out of context, please correct me on that. How excited were you to get the deal? Is this an independent label that y'all started with? And what were the goals at this moment when you're celebrating the fact that you're on the label now and you're going to actually do this for real? Speak on that.
Okay. All right. Little explanation with Barack. That's his dad. So okay. This is Young RJ's dad. So Barack Records, we've been going to RJ Wright Studios on and off throughout our career. So we was always a part of that, and that's the owner of Barack. So when he signed us, he told us that he would be able to get us a deal in a short amount of time. I think it was like a month or something like that. That was the original deal with the independent. So they went out and they shopped, and you know, Volume 1 was already kind of blowing up. That was like our kind of demo / album, first album. And then, you know, we had 5 deals on the table. You know what I'm saying? For distribution for that album, for whatever album was gonna be next. So we it was between like Def Jam, I think what was it? Universal Records, Interscope, A&M, and maybe one more label too. But you know, we decided to go with A&M. So Barack got us our first deal with A&M.
Now, what was it about A&M? Oh, I'm sorry. Go on. My bad.
But the album never came out on the A&M. We got the deal, did the album, but the album didn't come out on A&M.
Do you mind me asking why it didn't come out?
I can tell you why.
Okay. I just don't want to ruffle any feathers or get into something too personal.
No, it ain't nothing like that. It's just facts.
Okay.
So what happened was, they shut down the rap department.
Wow.
Because they spent too much money on the Corrupt album. Corruption, when he did that double album, when he did the East Coast and West Coast, it cost so much money that it didn't do as what they expected to do. Right. They just shut down the whole rap part before we even had a chance to come out. Damn.
Well, like I said at the beginning, you had to step back, and then you overcome them, and here we are to this day.
So the album really didn't come out initially until we ended up with another independent label with Barack, which was Good Vibe. So it came out when the album finally came out. It was Barack and Good Vibe.
Shout out
and
to
then the album got bootlegged because people had it from A&M Records. So it was a whole. That's back when bootlegging was the was a thing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yep. Shout out to Good Vibes, though. Love the label, loved everything about that. So we're gonna move to 2000, and this is when Dilla made the decision to go solo.
Right.
I know you all probably had a very collective conversation about it before he went and did it. Hopefully, that's how it went. What were your thoughts on him pursuing a solo career at that time?
I mean, you know what? It was it was funny how that happened. We was at a photo shoot. We was doing a photo shoot, I think for the Source. And he pulled just me to the side. And he said, "Hey man, I ain't gonna be doing this no more." Wow. I'm looking like, what? He's like, well, basically, man, I'm gonna give it to you, T, man. You gotta take it. You know what I'm saying? Basically, he was saying there's some other stuff he wanted to do. And this is, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know at the time that he was about to get him his own solo deal with MCA. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know at the time. So I'm like, okay, well, I understand, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? And then later on, I had to go by 10. But yeah, so it was a lot of pressure. Let me just say that. A lot of pressure. But at the same time, we just got a brand new deal with Capitol Records.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a stack of money. So it was like,
into that.
I gotta get in there and figure something out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's when Jay really come all the way into the picture.
Yeah. I was about to ask that. So now you're just thrown into the mix now. What direction did you want to take the group in, knowing that they've already been established by working with such a powerhouse as Jay Dilla? How did you feel your style was going to be a positive addition to what was already built at that time?
I think it was he already had a plan in mind, to be honest with you. I feel like Dilla had a plan from starting out with working on Climax and then, helping with that. And then he like, all right, listening to what we were doing over a period of time, I was like, okay, they got it. They know what they're doing. I can make my exit. And then it was just stepping in and doing whatever needed to be done to make it move forward, whether that's programming drums, whether that's playing drums, whether that's just engineering in the studio and offering opinion on what's good and saying, this is a good track, I don't know, or bringing other people in to assist.
Yeah.
So, that's all it was about. It's just the collective of making Slum Village win.
Right. Yeah. And so, Trinity.
Yes.
There it is.
So there it is. Trinity, the hardest album that I ever had to make.
Why was that the hardest album you ever had to make? Why is that?
Because everything was brand new. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is, so here, okay, like I said, I got the money, we got the budget. Now, Dilla said he gonna do 4 tracks off the album, 4 or 5. And so I got to figure out who's going to do the rest of the track. I produced. Me and Jay had already been producing together on stuff. So I said, okay, we got that. But we needed more producers, so I had to find other producers. So we found Black Milk through by 10. And then I found out about Kareem through Dilla. You know what I'm saying? So I was just piecing people that was kind of around. I didn't know, that I felt that it would work. For what we had. Then on top of that, by 10 was going through his things and he wasn't really showing up at the studio.
Oh, man.
So I'm just sitting here in the studio with all these producers, and by 10 is not even around. Dang. You know what I'm saying? So at that time I was managing Elzai. I was managing him. So he was my artist. And I was like, man, I was just thinking, because by 10 wasn't showing up, like, man, I might have to have you rap on a couple of songs or something, man, because I need to fill in the spaces. I can't do all the raps. You know what I'm saying? So, so it was crazy. So, the think tank was basically me and Jay. We used to think tank, and then eventually it became me, Jay, and Black for that album.
Right.
But every way we went with the album, it was a curveball. Tell them about some of the curveballs that we got.
Yes, please share some of the real downfalls that came with this release.
It would be a thing of where, like, we'll say we use Dilla, we pick the beats, record the songs, send them to him to mix them, and then he sent back a completely different version that's like electronic, and was like, this is what I'm giving y'all, take it or leave it. And it's like, well, damn, the album don't sound
nothing like this, right?
So, and then Bateen is not coming to the studio. He then took the little B-room studio equipment to his house, and he recording on completely different tracks than what we picking. So it's like all of these different things we're trying to pull from and pick the best of the best, and that's where you got the concept of Trinity Past, Present, Future. Because Dilla threw the curveball of this futuristic electronic stuff. Then you had some older stuff that sounded like vintage Slum, and then you had stuff that sounded like current, what was going on.
Right.
So where the whole concept came from.
So it was kind of a creative win-win in a way. If you want to look,
it did work for us. It did work for us. I don't know how, but it did work. You know what I'm saying? We came with the single Tainted.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that went off, and we brought Dwelle in the folds. You know what I'm saying? That was the first time people saw Dwelle, and it popped off. You know what I'm saying? Magically. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Dwelle, definitely, man. One of the baddest singers ever, man. That brother right there. Salute to him, absolutely. So, what was the tour life like at this point? Because you're bigger now than you were. Obviously, you're expanding your fan base outside of Detroit to the East Coast, West Coast, wherever. What was the response like when you toured out of the Detroit area?
Well, I mean, we had fun on tour. We had a good tour, but at the same time, we were dealing with it was more issues. On the tour, the issue was okay, what is Bateen doing? Where is Bateen? Is he gonna be the Bateen that we know he gonna be? Or he gonna be somebody else? And we had to deal with all of that. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't really enjoy it like I wanted to, because it was just always something going on. You know what I'm saying? And then Jay, this was first tour. Did you went on that first tour with us? And the Family Tree Tour. And you can tell them about the well, we got some stories, man. We can't say all the stories right now.
Wait, the fact that T3 is laughing, I'm about to hear something really good.
We got some stories, man. We can't tell you all the stories.
Yeah.
Don't say everything.
Yeah. I mean, it was a cool tour. It was us, right?
Us Fife, yeah.
From a Tribe Called Quest, Fat Cat Dwelle.
Fat Cat Dwelle, yes.
And with a live band. And somehow the keyboard player would always turn his keyboard above everything.
Shout out to Bernie.
So it was just, it was a lot.
But it was fun though. It was fun.
It was fun. Absolutely. At the end of the day, y'all had fun despite the mishaps. You spoke on Bateen not really holding his weight. Did it ever come to a time where you were just like, man, we can't keep doing this, because this is more than just a hobby now. This is an actual brand. And did you ever have conversations like that with him at any time?
No.
Wow.
But you know what? Because I felt like he earned his spot to be here, and I felt like he deserved this. And let me see what's going on with him. I didn't know at the time that he was dealing with bipolar and schizophrenia. I didn't know that. I thought he was eclectic. In Black communities, we didn't know what that meant. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking like, okay, man, he's just a little different. That's just 10. You know what I'm saying? But he decided he wanted to leave the group. I never would have pushed him out of the group. You know what I'm saying? I've never kicked anybody out of Slum Village. Everybody did this. Walked on their own 2 feet. I never say, get out. You ain't in Slum Village no more. I've never said that. You know what I'm saying? So with Bateen, that was really difficult for me when he left.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Why is that? Why was it?
I love that brother, man. We came up from the dirt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. And then, you know what I'm saying? So it was always a spot for him, whether he left or not. I always felt like he always had a spot in the group whenever, you know what I'm saying? He just going through what he going through. And he had a couple of situations too where people wanted to sign him and do different stuff for him. You know, so it didn't really pan out like it wanted to, but but he did have some stuff on the table.
Amen and amen to that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you just now tuned in, we got T3 and Young RJ, Slum Village representing. So let's take it to, let me see, do I want to, Detroit Deli. Let's just take it to 2004. Detroit Deli. I will say off rip that Disco and Selfish were my records. I think I heard Disco first.
Okay.
And Disco, that was Timberland on the track at the time.
Man. Oh, yeah, the remix. The remix.
Disco was on Trinity.
Okay.
Yeah, Disco was Trinity. Yeah, that's true.
It was on Detroit Deli. You know what? Don't mind me. But I loved Disco. But definitely Selfish was the big joint.
Yes.
Shout out to Kanye West. Shout out to John Legend.
Yes.
That song is played in neo soul clubs everywhere. Love to get their two-step on. How did this collaboration happen with Kanye, who was already like battling people who thought he couldn't even throw a verse together? He knew he was great with the beats, but what was it like working with Kanye West at that time?
I mean, it was an epic moment, man. The way I met Kanye was at the BET Awards. So I met him. Tainted had just dropped or something not too long ago. And then he was like, man, you that guy from that one song. He was like, he was like, man, I'm working on my album right now. I got a studio in the W. Come upstairs. So we go upstairs. He playing Jesus Walk before Jesus Walk came out. And all type of crazy joints. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, man, I'm gonna try to get you, on my album, whatever. Da 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 da. I said, oh man, cool, whatever. So, fast forward years later. I was supposed to be on this one song. I didn't do the song. That's a whole nother thing. Kanye did submit a song for me to do. I didn't do it, but anyway. But fast forward years later, we was in the label. We was sitting there. They was actually like, man, who y'all want to work with? We was like, man, we want to work with Outkast, and we want to work with Kanye. You know what I'm saying? But the thing with Outkast, they was like, well, Andre ain't doing no verses. So no. you know what I'm saying? So you only gonna get, big boy. You know what I'm saying?
They said that they would do it, but they had to produce the beat. And
this is Outkast saying this.
Yeah.
But the thing plus certain people was like, nah, we don't want him to do the beat. And I'm like, you bugging, but
Yeah, because they do got beats, yeah. But anyway, so we decided to go with Kanye, and that still worked for us. So we hit Kanye, and Kanye remembered that I didn't do the song. Remember, because Kanye was one of them guys.
Wow.
He did. So when it went to charge us, it was not cheap. It was not cheap.
I believe it. But it was.
I think we paid like $90,000 for Kanye.
Oh,
for the beat.
For the beat reverse. You know what I'm saying? And he said, I got this new artist I want to put on there. His name is John Legend. He was like, okay, I never heard of John Legend. John Legend, I didn't know who he was. But I learned later that he saw backgrounds on some of them Kanye albums. And
that Jay-Z stuff.
Yeah.
Doing background.
Yeah. So that's what I learned. So we go to the studio. Jay was in the studio. So it's us, we in the studio, and Kanye played one beat. That's it. And this beat. And then he goes, he plays, he start doing his rap, he's standing there, like he's standing up, he performing.
Wow.
And then John Legend is sitting there, and then John Legend starts singing and they kind of performing. And I was like, so this is the record I think y'all should do. What y'all think? And I was like, yeah, we can make this. Yeah, we definitely, you know what I'm saying? We can make this happen. You know what I'm saying? Did
John Legend play piano on that? Was that John Legend who did the piano part on that? No, it wasn't. Okay. No. I just thought it was because I saw Kanye West live.
John Legend did play it live when they was performing. But
no, I mean in the studio, did he play it for the? No, okay. Because I saw he would play it when him and Kanye would perform live. So I thought that he did it. It's still dope. Don't get me wrong. But
no, the record turned out dope. So we went I think we didn't even write in the studio that day. We took a day. We was in LA. We did this in LA. Took a day, and we went to I went to my hotel room, and then I wrote my verse. Elzad wrote his verse, and then we came back to the studio and recorded it the next day. You know what I'm saying? And then we knocked it out. It came out a classic. You know, we added a little extra chant on there that wasn't there, and then that was that. You know what I'm saying? But but Kanye was always Kanye. He was whole Kanye.
Yeah.
Even then, he was whole Kanye. You know what I'm saying?
Now I love funny videos. Shout out to Leaders of the New School. Shout out to De La Soul. Always, y'all, the interludes for Selfish had me dying.
Oh yeah.
What was the idea where the interludes? Was that y'all, or was that just a mixture of Kanye's craziness?
That was Chris Robinson. I think he shot that.
Video.
Yeah, the video director came up with that. You know what I'm saying? Talented guy. He shoots movies right now. Shout out to Chris Robinson. Dope dude. Yeah, that was Chris Robinson, man. He had the vision. You know what I'm saying? And it was dope how he brought Farnsworth Bentley in there. I wasn't expecting for that to be a part of it either.
Yeah, that was definitely dope too.
Yeah, he said Kanye brought him in. Yep.
We got Slum Village in the building, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to get real serious for a minute now. Over the course of the career, you lost both Jay Dilla and Bateen. Unfortunately, we're never in perfection, always and forever. I don't have to ask how y'all felt, but what was some of the learning lessons and great moments that you shared with either gentleman that still resonate with you to this day? And both y'all can speak on that if you'd like.
I mean, it's just taught to be original. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to take chances with music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what it is to be a family unit. You know what I'm saying? And family don't get along every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we all gonna come together when it's necessary. You know, it's a lot of things that you know, and experience, you know, that was first time experience, touring and all of that stuff. So, you know, definitely.
T3, you want to add to that?
I learned a lot, man. I learned a lot from Bateen too. Like, man, I learned about Black health, man. Just knowing, like, man, you don't know what's going on with your family. Sometimes you need to see somebody. You know what I'm saying? That stuff. I learned with Dilla is like, man, don't let things fester too long because you don't know how long a brother got.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those lessons you don't want to learn the way I had to learn. You know what I'm saying? Me and Dilla wasn't talking as much before he passed. You know what I'm saying? I wish I would have had more conversations with him. See, that's things you don't know until you go through that. So those are really like, dang. You know what I'm saying? I gotta, you know, I have to learn from that. You know what I'm saying? With 10, I was able to try to put that together and have that last relationship before he passed. So that was the difference with 10. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't get that with Dilla. I guess I learned that lesson with 10, you know, before 10 passed. You know what I'm saying?
With either loss, was it hard to continue doing this as Slum Village? Or did you see it? All right, we have to really honor these brothers that was with us even more now. Like with De La, now that Dave is gone, rest in peace to Dave. Pos and Mason, like, y'all, we got to continue this just to honor what it meant, what Dave meant to us and fans all over the world. Did you all have that same feeling, or did you want to call it quits because it was the losses were too tough? Speak on that real fast.
They always wanted us to continue, even when they left the group. So they never was. So for us, it's a legacy. It's a Detroit legacy. It's something that we pioneered. So we have to keep that brand going. You know what I'm saying? So that's why Slum Village has evolved. They had this member, that member, and this and that. But the legacy of Slum Village is still the brand that keeps going, and it still represents one of the first that ever did what we did at the time that we did it. You know what I'm saying? And that little bit of magic sparks so much and so many inspirations to other people. So that's how I feel about it.
Now, I want to talk about Dirty Slums Volume 1 and Volume 2. Probably shout out to DJ Mick Boogie first and foremost.
Yes.
Just a list of names on this man, rapper Big Cool, De La, Fonte, Fife, so many great peoples, man. How did this project come about? And I want to even talk about Elzai as well, because we didn't really talk about him yet. So let's talk about Elzai first. How did Elzai get pushed into the group? And well, we know how he got pushed, but his lyrics were very East Coast like, very Nas like. How did that dynamic fit into what Slum Village has? To speak on Elzai real quick, and salute to the brother Elzai.
Okay, you know what? Originally, it was a hard but easy fit. So here's how it works. So, like, say for instance, Tainted, we did Tainted, and he was like, well, you know, that's not really me. Like you said, I'm more this type of rapper.
Yeah.
And I was like, but man, it'll be a good look for you because it'll get you a different look. You gotta be, it has to be more dynamic. You gotta do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? So it took some course, and then he finally did it. And then he was happy he did it after that. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying, it was, like I said, I didn't know how it was going to work at all, to be honest, when I brought it in. Like I said, I was working on Trinity. It was a lot of pressure. But I wanted to give him an opportunity because I was already working with Elzai. And I had to fill up a slack because by 10 wasn't doing what he needed to do. So we didn't really, I felt like me and Elzai didn't really get gel until we did Detroit Deli. That's when our chemistry was starting to gel together. And that's when we had to go from a different approach. It wasn't standard, quote unquote, Slum Village. It was a Slum Village with a little bit of this, which is what he brought to the table. So what you got to add to that, Jay?
Here comes the laughs again. Uh-oh. All right.
Go ahead. Tell me what you think.
If we keeping it 100,
yes.
Yeah. Please keep it 100.
I'm fucking with L on Trinity. People was like this. The original Slum fans was like, who this nigga trying to replace Jay Dilla?
Oh.
So if we keeping it 100,
they did say that.
You know what I'm saying? We fuck with it.
Yeah,
that's why he on the record.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
but
true.
The initial fans was like,
Yeah.
He walk out on stage, they calling him Dilla. What's up, Dilla? You know what I'm saying? So shit was crazy.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So I know if a person really a real day one Slum fan, based off of what they saying. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for me, Elzai's talented. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't have been in the group if he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, he came in and he served the purpose in the time, you know what I'm saying, to keep the legacy pushing forward when we needed it.
And he did that, absolutely. Yeah. Did being around, and this is a question for all the members, past and present, did being around Dilla Batin Elzai make you lyrically better? Because you did songs where you were, jabbing at each other just for healthy competition wise. Like, let's talk about Wu-Tang, for instance. Like, I know being around Jizza and Inspector Deck and Ghostface, you got to write some hard stuff because of.
I mean, yeah, definitely, man. You're gonna sharpen up. You know what? I was writing a certain way when it was us three, but when I was with Elzai, I had to write a different way. So that is what you like. Okay, he more punchline, he more like this, he more like that. Okay, let me sharpen my bag up, my tools, and see if I can jump into that bag a little bit. Let me see if I can go over there and do that. So it did help me be more well-rounded because when I was first doing it, I was more a style guy. So, I had him on the styles, but he was the lyricist dude. So it was supposed to be like a yin and yang. I'm a style dude, and he the lyricist dude. So that's how we was formatting record based on that. You know what I'm saying?
It was like Tip and Fife. Fife was the lyricist, and Tip was more like just the creative monotone guy. If that's a safe way to say.
Yeah, so, I mean, And of course, we look up to Tribes. Absolutely. If it weren't for Q-Tip, we wouldn't even be here because he's the first person that played our demo for everybody, for Questlove and D'Angelo, and that's how they got on Volume 2 because of Tip. If it weren't for Tip, it wouldn't be no Slum Village. Let me just throw that out there. He definitely took us to the next level. So you know what I'm saying?
Okay. I was talking about the mixtape, but I want to just kill that conversation and talk about another mixtape that came out that Static Selected did called The Look of Love, since we were talking about that song earlier.
Right.
Did you all have a hand in that project too? Because he was, first of all, honoring Jay Dilla, but he took a lot of y'all's music and really put a new twist on all that with Common and a whole lot of other great MCs on it. Were you around for any of that project? And if so, can you just speak on the Look of Love mixtape that did come out? Shout out to Static Selected.
I don't think we was around that. I don't think we was a part of it at all. But you know what I'm saying? It was a point. Let's just say this. It was a point. We was doing albums, right? Right. Just before we got to Dirty Slums. So you got to think about it. We was doing albums, and then Elzhi left. Then the controversy with Elzhi leaving. Wow. So Slum Village we basically had to restart and rebuild at that point. Mm-hmm. And we was thinking like, okay, so what are we gonna do to rebuild what we already established? So it's me, Jay. It's basically me and Jay again trying to figure out what we about to do next.
What year was this happening? Around what year was it?
2009.
Okay.
So after we did Villa Manifesto, which was the last album that we did with Elzhi.
Okay.
So after we did that, and then so we had to restructure. So we was basically at home. We wasn't touring. We wasn't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's when we started reaching out to artists like rapper Pooh, who was a big part of Dirty Slums. He came in. There was a guy named Vice, you know, one of the homeboys from Chicago. Shout out to Vice. And we started, and Illa J was a part of it. So we started building this new second edition of Slum Village, and that's why we was calling it Dirty Slums. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that started forming. So we did all those records we had, and we toured for a long time, and then it was just nothing for us for a while.
Right.
But that brought us back though. Dirty Slums brought us back. And shout out to Mick Boogie, man, for you know what I'm saying, for showing love to us. For sure.
Shout out to Mick Boogie. So here we are in 2023. Just Like You is out. And when Edition sent me the record, I'm like, man, thank you for this. I immediately loaded it in my crates, and I'm just waiting for the right time to play it whenever I do my next event. And now we've got a tour, got a documentary, you got a Puma sneaker brand. I would love a free copy of Puma sneakers. I'm size 11 and a half. Thank you very much. Let me know how much they are. I like to support. To support people. But so let's talk about the future. We got the album Distinct Life coming out. Let's talk about the album. Let's talk about the documentary. Let's speak on those things first.
Go ahead.
The album is funky, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's a list right up there. If you look,
I can't really see it. I can't really see
it. You know, me and him finishing up. We're about a song or two away.
Yep, about 2 songs away.
You know what I'm saying? I'm super confident with the album. You know what I'm saying? Give people a sound that they haven't heard from Slum. You know what I'm saying? It feels good. As far as the docu-series, you know what I'm saying? You're going to get the whole truth.
The whole truth.
Nothing but the truth.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it look good on this person or that person, you got to have the whole truth.
You do.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we're doing that. We're putting that together. We got the Shooter Drop. Shout out to Rick Williams.
Yes.
Fat Cat for linking that together.
For sure.
And, you know, that drops August 1st. And, hey, man, we celebrating 50 years of hip-hop. They included us. Shout out to Puma for including us in the project. And, you know, we just keeping it going. We doing it for Jay Dilla by 10. You know
always Jay Dilla by 10. And you know, you see me working. You see the records back here, man. You see the records.
Oh, come on, man! I know. I'm seeing the records. Guest appearances. Can you tell anyone who? Can you give us some people who are on the album with you? You don't have to.
Everybody know we got Larry June and the Dramatics,
right?
But we can't say not because we.
Oh man, come on!
People.
All right.
We got to speak.
That's real. Nah, that's real. I will patiently.
You know, the only reason why, because you don't want to, you know, you want to make sure everything gets, the T's get crossed and the I's get dotted before you be like, da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? Then people say,
What
what
happened to that song?
Right. I
Oh,
understand.
yeah.
I had speech from Arrested Development some time back, and he talked about the pros and cons of performing in the States as opposed to performing overseas. For you guys, since you have done both, how different is it performing for people in America as opposed to performing for people outside of the US?
Interesting. I mean, we got great fans both places.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference I say is I would think I see a younger audience in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that number one. Like I'm talking like 21.
We had a kid 14 in the audience. They
Yes, knew all the lyrics. So we see they're passing that music down to their kids. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So I'm seeing a big, like just young people. You know what I'm saying? And in the States, not so much. You know what I'm saying? It's mixed. It's more like 30. It's still younger, but it's like 30. You know? Because I feel like, I said this not too long ago, I feel like the niggas my age don't want to come out and see real hip hop no more. For whatever reason.
Man, them niggas' feet hurt. They can't stand up for no 3 hours hip hop.
Hey, I agree with that. I agree with that one. Absolutely.
I'm standing up. I'm standing up. I'm your age. I'm standing up.
You not waiting for 3 hours, dog. You gonna be like,
exactly.
When that nigga
you're moving and shaking, you're on the phone, you're networking, you're moving around. I'm just saying. Okay, look. I saw Rakim a few months ago here. There was like probably 50 people in a place that fits 400 people, only 50. And I'm standing there in the Rakim, only 50. Literally, Kansas City is not really the best place for true school hip hop shows.
Yeah, we've been to Kansas before.
I'm from New York City originally, so I'm from the birthplace, but I moved here because my fiance's here and I wanted to be closer to her. And I've only seen one dope hip hop show since I moved here, and I've been here for 4 years. And Rakim is the only show that I was so excited about in the 4 years that I have lived here until this Friday when I go see the Far Side. Because I don't want to see the new school artists. I'd rather see people like you or Tribe or Little Brother or The Roots or, you know, people that are actually saying something that a person like myself can relate to, because I'm no drug dealer, I'm no pimp, I'm no gangbanger. I don't want to listen to that stuff. Well, that's not my life. I want to hear people that are, if you can't challenge me, and I'm a former MC as well, so if you can't challenge me as a former MC, as a listener, why am I going to buy your stuff? I don't want to hear the same old, there's only so many ways you can kill somebody on a song. Actually mess with someone, you know what I mean? It's like,
I hear what you said, but me, right. I like it all. I do like it all. I like my conscious rap, and I like my slap a bitch rap. I like put all my rap together. I don't care. I like rap.
Put it in the pot.
I like it.
Oh man!
But like you said, it's good rap and it's bad rap.
Yeah. It's always been good rap.
It's always rap. I'm not, and ain't to me it ain't the subject matter. It's like, are you executing this for real or are you not executing it for real? Right. Is you bringing something new to the table or are you doing the same thing? That's my pet peeve. It ain't really the subject matter, because you can make any subject matter dope depending on how you approach it. You know what I'm saying? It's about what it sound like, what you bring to the table.
Is it creative?
Is it creative? Do I get some type of feeling, some energy out of it? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm looking like. I'm an artist. I like art of all forms. You know what I'm saying? Action movies and horror movies. You know what I'm saying? I like it all. Comedies too. You know what I'm saying?
Real rap. Over the years, we have lost a plethora of so many artists. Some gone way before their time. Some leaving incredible catalogs of music. Which loss impacted you both respectively and or collectively outside of J Dilla and Batin, of course?
It would probably be Dave, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Definitely Dave and definitely Fife, man. Fife.
Yeah.
That was my man's, man.
Yeah.
Fife, man. He was always 100. He was always, he was always supportive of Slum Village, whatever. And so was Dave. So these are people of support that I actually knew and we had friendships with. You know what I'm saying? And beyond them being super duper dope artists. You know what I'm saying? You know, and the impact they both made.
Yeah.
You know, on what I do and just music in general, man. You know, those are the two. You know, that really.
RJ, what about you, man?
I would say the same, man. You know, I had a great relationship with De La. They, like he said, they've always been supportive. Shout out to Costa News, man. And,
shout out to Costa.
And ACO.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Keeping that torch lit, and I'm glad. See, I've been a fan. I'm a nerd too. I've been a fan of the hippie age back in 1989, and I knew about their struggles with Tommy Boy, and I just kept praying every year. I'm like, they're gonna get their ownership. They're gonna get it. It's gonna happen. And when it finally did, Dave had to. He's not here to enjoy the fruits of the labor that he was fighting with his bandmates for 30 years, and it's just like. It's a great victory, but it's also a loss at the same time because he's not here to enjoy.
Right. Well, at least his families will get his fruits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all you can say about that, man. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm happy, but I'm not happy because if I go to a De La show, it's not going to be the same without seeing the Dove there. It's just be the same, but they're going to continue it on, and I'm happy. I bought every piece of vinyl that has come out since this, and I'm like, I'm supporting them. I've got it all. My wife was like, stop spending money on vinyl. I'm like, can't do that. I got to honor this legacy because this is what I was raised off of.
The thing is that people got to come out and support the show. Yeah. You can't be selective and say you don't like new school rap, but then you don't want to put your shoes on and come out on a weekday and watch a hip hop show and complain at the same time. You're not going to get the shows you want to see unless you come out to the venue and support. Buy them tickets and support. Right. Or you're not going to see that artist in that city or state no more.
Yep.
It's just that simple.
So 2 last questions, ladies and gentlemen, then I'm going to get you on your way. Who are you all feeling that's out currently?
Who am I feeling right now out currently? You know, besides the Kendricks and it's a couple B-side people I like, man. You know, people from Detroit. I like Sada Baby. Shout out to Sada Baby. I like Vezzo. You know what I'm saying? I like Babyface Ray. The Detroiters. Who else? Who you messing with?
Hey man, Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Early Mac.
Early Mac, yeah.
All right.
Get that album done, and then, but you know, it's hit and miss for me. I ain't gonna sugarcoat a lot of this shit garbage, but you know, you make what you want to hear. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, make what you want to hear. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of stuff that's dope too. You know, you got a lot of the women that's killing it, as T been saying in interviews. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we just finding an inspiration where we can find it at.
Like yourselves, you guys have continued to put out music regardless of all the downfalls and everything. Another artist that I feel has done that is Nas. 5 albums in the last 2 years.
Yep.
And every album he seems to be getting lyrically better as it went on. I just heard Magic the other day, and I'm just like, is there anything that this man can't reinvent since 1994? And I have to date myself. I'm like, he's really been doing this since 1994 on a consistent level, with the exception of maybe Nostradamus, because that was probably the only weak album in his career. But even that had hits on it. See this current run with Hit Boy, who's probably 30 years younger than him, and the stuff that they're doing together is just like, I wouldn't have believed it because I saw Hit Boy making all these trap records, and I'm like, what's he going to do with Nas? And I was like, whoa. And then the next one came, and then the next one came. I'm like, okay. Now it's still, whenever I see a new album coming out, I'm like, I don't even have to question it. I already know it's going to be amazing because of what I previously heard.
Right, that's dope. That's dope. I feel like, man, here's the thing. What I told people: if you never stop writing, then you don't have to have a rusty pen as an artist. You know how you get a rusty pen? You stop writing. You sit there, you get domesticated, you start eating sandwiches, playing with the kids, doing what you're doing, and you ain't in that dang studio. Guess what? Your pen about to be rusty.
Or your wife looking over your shoulder like, what girl was you having a menage a trois with? And you scared to say some shit in the song. That's the death. That's the death
That's
of
the
you.
killing of your writing.
Go
man.
retire.
You might as well go.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna write what I write.
Right.
And anyone I'm with, my wife supports me. So anybody I'm with, no, hey, it's me. I'm about to write my shit.
What I'm writing is not what I'm going through. This is just writing what I creatively feeling at the time. I'm not bringing drama home to you because
I'm not even saying where it came from. I just said I'm right. I'm right.
You ain't questioning when a person writing a movie script.
Nope.
Nope. Not at all.
So if you don't want to listen to it, turn the fucking song off and let's keep it moving.
Keep it moving, baby.
As legends in the game that have seen it all, done it all, what do you feel is missing in hip hop culture in 2023? And if you think nothing's missing, then say nothing. But if you feel something is missing or something needs to be seen more of, what do you think that is?
Variety on the radio.
Salute. Absolutely.
Or just the mainstream, not just the radio, just the variety in the mainstream. Whatever that is today.
Right.
Because I don't know how many people listen to radio.
I mean, you
know what I'm
even
saying?
when you go to serious stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
the stuff you hearing is like trap. I get it. But you got one station you can go to, which is Rock the Bell.
Rock the Bells, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, other than that, you got Shady 45. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't getting a whole lot of variety if we keep it in 100. You know what I'm saying? Even like you say, mainstream radio. Back in the day, you used to be able to hear your 2 Live Crew, your Dr. Dre, NWA, just anything you wanted to hear on one station.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely isn't like that now. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Key 3, we have RJ, Slum Village, the new album, Distinct Life. You said August 1st. Was that the date?
Distinct Life is the gym shoe company that helped us.
See, Audition gave me notes to read, and he made it say like Distinct Life was set for August. So I thought he did that in a separate sentence.
That's the Puma drop.
That's the Puma shoe drop.
August 1st.
August 1st.
No, we haven't even named the album yet. The album is untitled.
Okay. The album is untitled. No release date.
And it's not coming out till maybe September.
Come out when it's done.
I can't wait for it to come. One last question. I know I said this before. I got to really ask this. You've worked with a bunch of producers already. Is there anyone that you haven't worked with, being old school or new, that you would still like to work with, and why?
Producers?
Yeah. Not to disrespect you, RJ, but please don't take it personally.
No. I'm gonna name somebody too.
Okay. I don't. I mean, I've been in the studio with Dr. Dre, but I might go in there with Dr. Dre again. I'll do that. I consider that. And who else? Some other people, man. Pharrell, man. I never worked with Pharrell. I would be dope to work with Pharrell, man. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's all I can think of at this present moment.
RJ, what about you, my brother?
Going in the studio, of course, I had fun in the studio with Dre. But I would lean with T. I would say I would love to hear what a Slum and Pharrell would sound like. So everybody who watching this, hit up Skateboard P. Tell them Slum needs you. You know what I'm saying? We're working on the album. We need them.
Yeah. Well, since we doing that, I got a couple of.
Come on with it.
Okay.
Come on with it.
I need Will. I am. Hit me up. You know me. Slum needs some beats.
Now, when you say Will I Am, do you mean the current Will I Am? Hold on, let me get this. Okay. So do you mean the current Will I Am, or this Will I Am?
I like that Will I Am. That's the one I'm gonna be requested. But here's what I'm saying: Will I Am is a talented guy. He can get in any bag. He can get it in a bag if you know what I'm saying. So I mess with him. And we were supposed to do the record and it just never came to fruition. But we was in the studio that's back in the day. So, you know, just something to think. Also, one more. Primo. Yeah, one more. Primo, let's go.
See, I was waiting for that. I was like,
Primo. Let's do
it. One last question. Minstrel Show came out and Hiding Place was the record. I was baffled because the liner notes said Ninth Wonder produced it, but it sounded like a Dilla beat straight up. Clear this up for me. Who produced Hiding Place for the Minstrel Show?
Ninth Wonder.
Ninth Wonder.
It really was. It sounded like a Dilla beat straight up.
No. I remember when me and Dilla first heard it. It was in the studio.
Okay.
We had the album. You know what I'm saying? We was listening to it. Yep. I remember that.
Wow. Classic beat right there.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. This is Slum Village. Please, gentlemen, post share how people can get in touch with you and speak on everything that's coming out again, just for the people who are tuning in late. The floor is yours.
All right, so you got official Slum Village on everything.
Cool.
You know what I'm saying? You got at T3SV.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You got at YoungRJ313.
Yep.
You know, we got
the Puma shoe dropping August 1st. Look for that. We got a new album coming later this year. We got a docu-series coming, breaking down the ups, downs, the everything about Slum Village. Album is crazy. Is upbeat, kind of disco, hip hop influenced. So look for that. It's gonna be a dope album coming soon.
And just like you was out now, ladies and gentlemen, go get it.
Just like you out, featuring Larry June and the Dramatics. Let's go.
And you also didn't talk about the European tour. I heard you got that coming up as well, correct?
Yes, we're gonna be on the road. We coming soon to the Europe.
That's gonna be next year. We about to get our knives on. We about to drop albums on y'all.
Yeah, we got a few albums coming this year. So look for it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here first. I want to say thank you to the two of y'all for taking the time out to vibe with us. I want to thank you, T, for keeping the torch lit all this time through the ups, downs, highs, and lows. You never quit. You never gave up. You kept this thing rolling when probably a lot of people counted you out. And as someone that believes in staying true to something and doing it from the heart, thank you again for just being a passionate person to show that, yeah, you can go through stuff and still keep it moving and still represent, because there are diehards that never forgot where you came from and want to see what's going to come next. So as a person,
thank you, man, I appreciate that.
And he did it so graceful too.
Oh, yeah,
I did. I'm trying not to curse a whole lot because the wife don't like it. So I'm trying to.
Okay, I understand
myself. I really want to say, yo, you look, but I can't do that. But in all due respect, thank you for being a positive representative of the last 50 years of hip hop culture. I feel you've earned a place. Both of y'all have earned a place, and I can't wait to hear the newness. And whenever another project comes out, let's do this again and again and again and again. Thank y'all, ladies and gentlemen. This is Slum Village, y'all.
Yes. Thank you, man.
I am done with the Rap Sheet podcast. Season 3 is over because now I'm getting married in 14 days. That's where my
Congratulations.
And I'll see you guys in September. The sneaker, will it be in stores or you can just get it online? Last question.
Both.
Okay, I'm going to Foot Locker because I'm gonna look there and get it, God willing. Thank you guys for spending the time. I appreciate y'all. Episode 21, season 3 Rap Sheet podcast, Slum Village. We out. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. I appreciate y'all. See y'all. God bless y'all. Yeah.